In this video, I will tell you about the best strategy for buying and selling cryptocurrency based on the crypto fear and greed index. This strategy will allow you to get a great return on your investments. It's very simple, but incredibly effective. This strategy has been tested by me personally. In fact, this is the strategy I have been using from 2017 to today. I will also show you in this video how exactly I use a fear and greed index. If you want to know how to use this strategy correctly, then watch the video to the end so not to miss all important details. You might be wondering why you should listen to me, how I am different from all other crypto analysts. Everything is very simple here. I work as a portfolio manager for a large bank and manage portfolio of several billions of dollars. Therefore, I have a lot of interesting things to tell you. Everything I am talking about here is real information and not retelling of articles from the internet. Therefore, in order not to miss all the important information, subscribe to this channel, press the like button, and let's figure out. Before we start, I would like to say that it's a simplified version of my investment strategy, which I have been using since 2017. But today I will tell you all important components. When the index shows extreme fear in the market, then I buy because price falls. When the index shows extreme greed in the market, then I close my profits because price high, buy low, sell high. That's the secret of Wall Street. During a strong and rapid growth, I always sell part of my assets, since growth is never endless and I do not forget to always take a profit. The stronger the growth, the more actively I sell the asset. No matter how cool the party is, the next day will be a hangover or someone will have to clean up the mess. So, this is the index of fear and greed itself. Here you can see historical values. And here when the next update comes. Also, if you scroll a bit, you can find a historical chart which is very useful. I will leave a link in the description below. It's totally free. The index displays a state of the market, whether the market is afraid or is greedy. Let's look at historical data here. As we can see here, when Bitcoin reached historical peaks, the greed in the market was extremely high. It reached levels above 70. Everyone really wanted to buy Bitcoin at the moment. Now the situation repeats. As you can remember, after the all-time high in this year, the market was in decline, and that was a great buy signal for me. Every time the index fell below 15 points, I immediately and actively began to buy Bitcoin. As you can see from the graph, the fear and greed index fell under 15 points. At that moment, the price of Bitcoin was about $34,000. Now, as you can see, the index has risen to levels about 80 points. For me, this is an excellent signal to sell. But how to decide how much to sell? Sell everything at once? Or maybe there is a different strategy? Now, I will tell you how I do it. I personally trade in small portions. I am a long-term investor, so I use 2 to 5% of my deposit for each trade. I never allocate 50 or even 100% in single trade. Some people actually bet everything on one single trade like in a casino. I don't like such a strategy. One important point here: a market entry strategy is more important than an exit strategy. If you bought at a level that will give you a profit in the future, then it's much easier to decide where and when to take a profit. For example, even if in some incredible way you bought Bitcoin at the highest price peaks in 2013, 2017 and 2021, now you still have a profit. But here, for example, you would have to wait 1229 days or about 4 years to reach a profit. And here you would have wait 1094 days to reach a profit. And then you would have to wait 189 days to make a profit after the most unlikely purchase. The most interesting thing is that the more time passes from the moment of your purchase, the better it is for you. But I want to remind you that I'm not your personal financial advisor. Do not forget this. This index helps me to understand where to sell and where to buy, and to avoid such bad purchases. It's completely free. When there is an atmosphere of extreme fear in the market, then I buy more on falling prices. This rule obligates me to always have reserves of stablecoins or US dollars in order to be prepared for a fall in the market and an excellent opportunity to buy at cheap prices. But this money does not just lie in the account, it brings me a fixed income. In addition, I almost never use my entire reserve on one price drop, since the price may continue to fall and nobody knows where the fall will end. The only exception when I used my entire reserve in one dip is when Bitcoin dropped abnormally in a short period of time in 2020. During that day, Bitcoin fell by more than $9,000 and dropped to $3,500. The index was at 10 points that day. Of course, during such falls, very few people buy, which is why the price drops so much. On the contrary, everyone in horror sells. I told to my friends to buy on this drop, at least for a small percentage of your capital, as this was a great opportunity to enter the market. Despite the fear and panic, it was difficult for people to buy back then. I can personally understand this fear. A long time ago, when I first started investing, I felt in the same way. I also have a rule: do not buy during euphoria. Buying at peak prices or during time of maximum greed in the market rarely translates into short-term profits. After a while, there will be a bad news again and the price will fall again. If you buy at the peak price, then you have to be ready to hold the coin for a very long time, maybe even for a few thousand days. We have already talked about this in this video, but keep in mind that this only works with some very strong cryptocurrencies, for example with Bitcoin or Ethereum. Fundamental analysis is also very important here. Many altcoins, after peaking and crashing, may not even recover even after 1,000 days. As I said earlier, I don't like buying anything at peak prices. At some point, the reward to risk ratio is too high for me. I would rather to stay out of the market and stick to my trading strategy. An exception can be made only for some cryptocurrencies. It's very dangerous to buy anything else at the peak. Cryptocurrencies may not return even in the long term. Now let's talk about limit orders. For a buy strategy in a falling market, it is very important to set limit buy orders. Almost all the biggest falls take place over the course of several hours and very unexpectedly. If you do not sit on the cryptocurrency exchange around the clock, it's very likely that you will miss the price drop, and in the short period of time the price may rise back. The only way not to miss a price fall is to use limit orders. You can also move all these orders if the price falls more than expected. It also works great in the case of strong growth. And so we figure out the buying strategy. Now let's move to the sell strategy. My strategy is to sell the asset more actively when the greed index is high. The higher the index is, the shorter the gap between sell orders I have. Here I can also use 2 to 5% from my asset for one single trade. If I use 2% per single trade, then only after 50 trades I will completely sell my asset. This can happen with an extremely low probability, since such a strong growth is extremely rare. But if this happened, then I will have a large profit on my trades and I will not miss a strong growth in anticipation or even a greater growth. As a rule, after a very strong growth, a strong fall follows. For example, as it was in 2017. And then there is an opportunity to redeem the asset back. Even this year, after reaching 60,000, Bitcoin made a correction where I bought when crypto fear and greed index showed a low value. That's why this strategy can be used all the time, since the market is cyclical. I hope this information will be very useful for you. In order not to miss further videos, subscribe to the channel. A lot of interesting things will be waiting for you. See you in the next video.